What's up, everybody? Thralls Metal here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick.
I'm Jammin John.
And we have yet another album review and one to close out this week. I saw this one come up and I was like, hey, this is a relatively new band. This is a debut album. Kind of wonder what they're about, and I looked up who all was in it. I was like, oh, well, we definitely have to go over this. So we're going to go over, again, the debut album from Imperishable, Revelation in Purity. This also comes out on the 29th of August on Everlasting Spew Records. This band formed sometime after 2020 when they were listed as active, but they formed in South Carolina. This is their debut album. Again, first time I've ever heard them, first time he's ever heard them.
Yeah.
We're on the same page as once, and I can't even say, oh, well, I heard the demo, and you're just a fucking poser or some shit. I can't even do that. I'm being denied some joy here.
I wouldn't call you a poser. That's
No.
pretty...
I mean, I might.
I mean, it's kind of tough to get past the fact that this band has some pretty... gosh darn decent musicians in it, one being Mr. Derek Roddy on drums. I mean, I can't really pass up anything that man's ever touched. I have watched thousands of hours of Derek Roddy playing drums, so I mean, that was a big thing.
You're probably not alone. I've even done that, and I'm not even a drummer. But this project is, I would say, like blackened death metal. I mean, that's what it's listed as on the archives. I'd say that's pretty accurate. It's definitely very technical. It's fucking riffier than hell. And in terms of like members, I mean, of course, Derek Roddy. So, you know, you have members of bands like Hate Eternal, Malevolent Creation, and just a litany of bands that he has drummed for, as well as members of NILE and Olkoth as well. In fact, this was produced by guitarist and vocalist on here, Brian Kingsland. And this was mixed and mastered by Jamie King, which that dude has worked with a lot of bands.
Yeah.
And again, like going into this, seeing all the members that are on here, you know, well, first off, we knew the drum work was going to be excellent. And yeah,
it is.
It's absolutely amazing. It's Derek Roddy. The dude's a fucking machine. And in terms of a style, I mean, with guys that play in Olkoth and NILE, I definitely expected some nihilisms. And 100% got them. This is technical. It's furious. Lots of, like, big transitions that are very nihilish. In fact, like, you get that kind of grandiosity when they change over from riff to riff. Like, you get slow, epic parts. You get just absolutely disgusting machine gun riffs on here.
God.
Heavy tremolos, distant, scathing, blackened sections, and all backed by just an absolutely amazing drum performance, which is kind of par for the course with Derek Roddy. But there's some interesting twists and turns on here. Like, these songs like to jump around in terms of death metal's wild wheelhouse, going from like blackened death metal to like more thrashy, like deicide-ish stuff. The opening track, Oath of Disgust, man, does this 4-minute song run the gamut of different stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it sounded like Hate Eternal at first, but... okay, something that I'm going to address right off the bat, because it appears right after that part, is there's chanted clean vocals in this, and they sound remarkably like Alice in Chains.
I did not have that on like my things that I would hear from this album.
No.
Just it is, and it shows up multiple times. These clean vocals also show up on Iniquity and Where Dead Omens Croon, and again, like it's this weird combination because you get these, you know, very, I mean, like doom-laden riffs aren't necessarily like the most uncommon thing to hear Alice in Chains style, you know, vocals on. But, like, combining them with, like, slow, lurching Morbid Angel riffs.
Right, so, like, if Morbid Angel was fronted by Jerry Cantrell.
Yeah, and Lane Staley, because they definitely double them for effect. I was not expecting that. But then, immediately after that transition on this first track we're still talking about, Oath of Disgust, it goes into, like, a straight-up, like, old-school Floridian, thrashy death metal breakdown groove. Like, again, fiercely deicide-ish. And again, these transitions are just nuts because I think it goes like headlong into like scathing black metal for a second, back to those death metal roots. And I had to like ask how long that track was because it felt like it was almost like too much to just be a 4-minute track because there's just, again, so much going on.
Now, there are times when these songs aren't all just like stylistic melting pots, like just a big old batch of soup. Spewing Retribution definitely leans more towards one certain aspect than another, and that would be black metal, blackened thrash, but like the overall vibe of that song is blackened.
Yeah, like the vocals are more mid-range, which the vocal dynamics on here are awesome. Like even counting the Alice in Chains vocals that we did not expect. They move around pretty well in the mix, like sometimes a little bit more in the back, sometimes out front, sometimes a more intelligible roar, sometimes just deep growls. I feel like I'm describing all the vocals on a NILE album, and that would be accurate. But this one definitely feels colder, like they favor more of the black metal side of their sound, and the black metal side of their sound is like aggressive. Like it's just kind of balls out. It's really not kind of, you know, trying to go for too much atmosphere. Like, yes, you get some dissonant melodies here and there and some maybe chimey, clean guitars to make it sound more ghostly. The descending tremolos that are on Exclusion Continuum are haunting as hell. But for the most part, it's just vicious. Like, think more like Marduk and like Shooter. But on the other side, sometimes they'll just tilt it more back towards like death metal. And again, when it's death metal, I mean, of course, NILE, I feel like we're going to name drop that band a lot. But also a lot of like old school Morbid Angel. The title track on here, man, it just thunders in with this double time groove, big hefty tremolo. Like, it sounds like it could have been plucked right off of Covenant. And it's absolutely monstrous and dark. You do get some blackened accents every now and then, but it's just, I don't know, it's so fucking Morbid Angel, like even down to the drum work. Like, it sounds like Derek Roddy's just channeling Pete Sandoval on that one. Now, it does break out of the Morbid Angel mode for like a little bit on that song. The bridge on there, it's got this good, like kind of like fun riffy gallop, like kind of like an Immortal sort of riff on there. So even in black metal, I mean, they kind of like varied up a little bit, but this whole album is about transitions, whether they are sharp and just like frequent as hell, or they're more grand and theatrical. I guess that feels kind of fair on there too. One of the last things I wrote down as we were going over this, and it feels very accurate, this feels like either, you know, Morbid Angel put down the Necronomicon and picked up the Book of the Dead and read through that and was like, hey, this is a good read. Or vice versa. NILE put down the Book of the Dead and read the Necronomicon and was like, man, these tentacle creatures are pretty fucking wild. Well, there's a way to summon them. Sweet. It feels like that because, you know, I don't know, it has like dynamics of both, and I feel like those are the two main things we pulled from here. But it also has, again, like elements of like technical death metal on here, and like, you know, more like precise modern death metal. Like Exclusion Continuum has this like very decapitated, syncopated part that's catchier than hell, and I really wish stuck around longer.
Or Iniquity, which also has some more tech death metal parts, and it reminded me of like early Obscura, or where Dead Omen's croon, it goes from Cannibal Corpse to The Faceless to Deicide to Alice in Chains to NILE. So like that's a stylistic melting pot, because I heard clear as day all of those bands.
Yeah, and I mean, they do them all well. It's just sometimes with like the structure of these songs, like they just kind of come at you at, well, it kind of feels like a little random at times. Like there are a lot of riffs that repeat. They do bookend stuff pretty damn well, but some of these transitions are so kind of like wild and off the wall that you kind of get this like weird like cacophony kind of effect. Like, man, they're just kind of all over the place. The songwriting is like really fun in terms of its complexity, though. Like, I like the riff changes. The playing in here is excellent, and that's everyone in the band. Like, everyone can clearly do this shit really well.
Yeah, they're definitely all firing on all cylinders. Like, there's no denying that whatsoever. The riff complexity, I guess, because of how many changes it makes and how many styles it switches through, to me, that's kind of what makes it that complex. Like, you go from this super crazy machine gun, like, blackened, atonal, dissonant riff, to downright some of the heaviest material, like, towards the, I don't know, like 3/4 of the way through the Enduring Light of Irreverence. That's downright gnarly. There weren't too many things in here I would call downright gnarly as far as like overall heft, but in that song for sure.
I mean, like, there's definitely tons of heavy on here. I mean, this is definitely, you know, blackened death metal. But like, I don't know, like heavy is achieved in like a lot of different ways. Like Iniquity, you know, when you get those slow lurching riffs and even the like more Alice in Chainsy kind of chanted vocals in there. Like, it's very doomy. It's very ominous. So it definitely kind of creates like a different kind of heavy there too. Plus, you know, some of the more thrashy sections or blackened sections. You know, this is a mishmash of like tons of different styles of heavy. I do think they do their best with like longer songs because then they have like a little bit more room to breathe. The Enduring Light of Irreverence, which, first off, I want to throw my hat in the ring to be a torchbearer for that light because I love irreverence and I kind of live by it, along with my other gods, sarcasm and cynicism. But this song is longer. It's just got a lot of big, bold, heavy riffs, but there's also a lot more breathing room in there, and it does a lot of like repeating parts on that song for like a one that you would think they're just going to go absolutely hog wild compared to the rest of the album, because the shorter songs, they're packed with so many transitions it can be kind of hard to keep up. But this one's simply more methodically paced. I mean, you get like tons of these hefty tremolos and these really cool counter harmonies in there. You get your atmospheric sections and they lead into like just some flat out disgusting riffs. And this song in particular does something that, I think the rest of the songs don't do as much. It goes absolutely hog wild on lead work.
4 of them. And the cool thing about these leads that I thought were kind of unique, at least in this song, was when the styles switch, so do the leads once again. So if you're going to have 4 leads, you can't make them all the same. And they're pretty damn entertaining. You don't get a whole lot of lead work on this record except in Spewing Retribution. It was kind of a thrashy lead and that was cool. But yeah, just when you think they're done with the lead, they're not. In fact, it even fades out on a lead. One of the only times it fades out on the record. So a gripe that I might have about this album is that a lot of these songs just end abruptly. Like straight just cut off and then the next track. Like there's no fade out. And the thing about that is that most of these songs are fairly atmospheric. Now, they use guitars and, reverb and tremolos to do that. But there's all a fair amount of atmosphere in them, which makes me wonder why you would just stop the song.
Yeah, Exclusion Continuum in particular, that song just stops on a dime, and it feels like there could have been, like, some sort of, just let a note drone out, a little bit. But it's just, like, a harsh chop right there. And where Dead Omens croon... I like that song. It's got some cool stuff in it, like some really good chuggy riffs to start off. But it feels like there was more song. Like, this is the shortest song on the track. Like, it's got, again, like kind of everything they're doing on here, like crazy, like thrashy death metal riffs and, like some clean vocals again, some good vocal dynamics. It's a short blitz with like a lot of transitions in it. And it feels like it still had like, some more building. Like you kind of felt like you were listening to the first part of the song and where it drops out was going to be a transition into like, another really big lavish section of riffs, maybe like slow it down a little bit and build back into the, main part of the song again. I don't know. It felt like there was more and it kind of just ended right there.
And then there's a couple more strange things. The first of which being in Exclusion Continuum. There's this really weird part that has this like gradual slowdown in it, but it sounds like they went off the click to do it. It sounds like it wasn't planned out, like they didn't all do it together, because you're just like, is that slower? Maybe, I don't, yeah, okay, it's slower, and then they don't do anything with it. It goes into a blast. The second one would be, in Revelation and Purity, there's a part towards the end where it's almost got like this doomy vibe to it, and it hangs out for a second, so you think it's going to do something, and then it doesn't, and it just cuts off.
Yeah, it's just this, like, very, I don't know, like, kind of creepy, crawly riff, and, the drum pattern's pretty cool. Like, it's a little off time. Derek's doing some cool cymbal work.
Whatever. Let's assume here that just every drum part is awesome.
Yeah, well, just go with that.
Yep.
But, yeah, like, you're either expecting it to, like, fade out or, build into another melody before fading out or something. Like, maybe even doing, like, a slowdown. But it kind of just hangs out there and then the track just kind of cuts off. But even with all this, like, I still feel like this is a pretty solid debut here. And, yeah, like, their roots are definitely in a lot of the bands I played in, but I don't really blame them. I mean...
Nor do I really care.
No, I was like, oh, no, not another band that sounds like Morbid Angel or NILE. I hate that. Ruined my day. No, that didn't happen. This is just what I would call, like, a really solid debut with a couple of kinks that'll probably get hammered out with the follow-up. And overall, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. Solid songwriting. Again, it is a little busy when it comes down to transitions, and some of those transitions are just wild as hell, but ultimately entertaining. Like, I wasn't expecting the clean vocals on here, and honestly, they're quite effective. They fit in pretty well. Like, they're not just like, on their own little island, not meshing with the song. They do work, especially in the more doomy sections. I never thought, a combination of Alice in Chains style vocals and like Morbid Angel's slow lurching riffs would work as a solid combo, but apparently they do. Drum performance, fucking brilliant. Yeah, we knew that. But I mean, in terms of songwriting, they have a lot of cool stuff to build on here. And, it's still rooted in a lot of stuff that I absolutely love. So, yeah, I think they got a pretty good start here. If you're a big fan of NILE, Morbid Angel, also maybe like, Hate Eternal, and, like a touch of like Belphegor, every now and then, some of the Blackened sections, Deicide, stuff like that. Check this debut out. It's pretty good.
I'm going to go ahead and give it a good solid 3. One thing that I didn't talk about that I meant to talk about that we never really touched on was the mix of this record. While Jamie King is solid at what he does, this record is incredibly raw, yet incredibly compressed. And those two things together didn't really work out for me at first. Like, by the time you get to the end of the record, it's like any record. You're used to it and you're like, all right, this is okay. But like, in the beginning, it took my ears a while to adjust to it, and like, I think that guitar, while it was crunchy, could have used a little bit more presence. The drums sit a little bit out front, which isn't a big deal because I love Derek Roddy and pretty much every beat he has. But like, to me, it just sounded a little bit like unequally yoked as far as the mix was concerned. But that doesn't negate the fact that this record is pretty goddamn awesome on its own accord. Riffy as all hell, dude. The picking speed is insane. The tremolo layering on here and the harmonies that go with it just kind of adds this like extra bunch of evil. And I wouldn't call this record like grossly evil, but it is in almost like a Nile sense, like a Middle Eastern kind of like, oh my god, sand and yeah.
Mummies.
Yeah, mummies, oh my god. It's got that kind of vibe to it. While I did find some of the transitions to be a little jarring, like, it's impressive. And even in its stylistic moments where it can't quite figure out exactly where it's gonna go, like, it's still really good. Like, I definitely banged my head to all of this. I just think that there were a few kinks for me that I thought needed to be worked out. Probably like Nick said, it'll be worked out in their follow-up. But nonetheless, it's still a solid album. And yeah, if you're definitely a fan of, well, Morbid Angel and NILE and Deicide and a bunch of really awesome Florida bands, you're probably really going to dig this. I don't know. I would just recommend checking it out for yourself.
So, if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, because we do stuff like this all the time. We also have memberships. They're only 99 cents in our Lone Burgers Doing Game members only stream, which we will be doing more than likely this coming Saturday, if all things kind of work out. I know life likes to throw us multiple curveballs that explode in our face.
Oh my god.
But we think we should be able to get this one done. Either way, memberships are the main way to support the channel, and if you would like to join up, there's a join button down there for you to blast beat at the same pace that Derek Roddy does on it. Like, I'm pretty sure one of those hits will make contact. If not, you've just done it wrong.
And that's okay. We also have done a lot of things wrong here, like the fact that we have been really slacking on members-only live streams or our discography rankings at the gates. We're thinking it's going to be filmed the same day as the live stream. It's going to be an exciting day for the Thralls of Metal.
There's going to be like a meteor or fucking
I was
some
going to
shit.
say, dude, it's going to stop raining shit on us eventually, and we promise that we will keep you pumped full of metal content, which is what we do. Tons of reviews, discography rankings, the Thralls of Metal greatest hits that go in tandem with the discography rankings, Nick's collection updates, non-members only live streams that are just as stupid as the members only live streams, and a ton of other metal shit. Tons of forums, segments, blah, 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 blah. All metal all the time. We do it for you guys because we appreciate you. Thank you for being a part of this channel. Thank you for continuing to come and watch our videos and hang out with us and be stupid with us as we talk about fucking metal. We appreciate you.
Yeah, you guys absolutely rule. Tons of content coming your way. So one more big thank you because you guys are awesome, and we will get you later.